Welcome back to the Drum Rundown. We are here in Nashville, Tennessee at the Municipal Auditorium, and I am here with Sam Loeffler of Chevelle. What's going on, man?
Everything's great, man. Thanks for coming.
Of
We're in
course.
beautiful old school Nashville.
Yes.
You see behind us.
This is a cool room. I've seen some pretty awesome bands
Have
here.
you?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think the last time I was here was Maiden.
Oh.
So
This is the first time I've ever been in this building.
I was going to ask.
Obviously, we've been to Nashville 30 times, 40 times.
So new room.
The first time we ever played in Nashville was in '99 with Static X.
Wow.
And we played like a little thing together. I think there was about 15 people there.
Do you remember where it was?
I don't remember, but I do remember that it was super shallow.
Okay.
And they played, and I didn't even know what was happening because I didn't know the music, and I was like, "What is this?" And I ended up getting way into that record, Wisconsin Death Trip. So good.
Yeah, and that was about the time I got into your records.
Well,
Then around that time,
yeah.
99 into in the early 2000s, and I feel like when I heard the Red, it was just like, yes, whatever is happening, right? Sonically, to me, just kind of like, yes, this is awesome. I loved how heavy it was and just how it was cutting through, and it was so different kind of in the landscape of what I was hearing on the radio. So
yeah, that song was, I think it was the right song at the right time.
Right song at the right time, yeah. And throughout 11 more records, 20 years, and so many things changing sonically in rock and roll. You have done such a good job of staying true to what you do and still having everybody kind of on bated breath. When you release something, it's like, Chevelle's coming. There's going to be like a resetting of kind of what hard rock sounds like right now.
Well, I hope all that's true.
I think it's true. Rad. What do you attribute that kind of longevity and kind of being able to stay true to your sound? What do you guys kind of attribute that to?
I mean, I think it just comes down to music. You have to play the music that so whatever you're playing, if you hate it, you're not going to want to play it.
Fair
so we just work on music until we're like, well, I want to play that live. That's what I want to be doing. And if it's something that's disingenuous or something that is like you're struggling anyway, and especially when like Pete and I are really close, and we've been doing this band since we were young together, so we're kind of on the same path. But I think other bands may have it harder in that you could have 3, 4, 5 different ideas in one song, right? And then whoever wrote that song, it's like, well, that's not my part. I wrote it like this, and that can get even more difficult. Whereas Pete's our writer, and we work really well together, but it's very straight road.
There's a lane, for sure.
There's a lane for sure.
And there's a familial bond maybe that has some. Let's do it. Well, we can talk about the sidecar rig because that is just like the most convenient thing I've ever seen, and I definitely need to get one of these.
The sidecar rig.
Yeah,
it's pretty special.
There's a lot going on over there.
There is.
I'm really into it.
Yeah.
I'm looking down. Well, the Apple box is gone now, but there was like a note there that said "Torment your brother." So yeah, do you think that torment has something to do with you guys staying in the same lane musically all these years?
I wonder. I mean, I think it's more when we're playing shows. It's kind of nice to give Pete something to distract him a little bit because he's pretty laser focused because he's playing guitar and singing, remembering the lyrics, everything at the same time. So if he can throw me straight under the bus once in a while, it's worth it.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now he's throwing Cowbell under the bus too.
All right. Well, that's good. Yeah. So torment your bandmates. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's get into like what we're playing tonight. So we have a Music City Custom.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Talk to me about how you got into this kit, because this is a new to the internet maybe. I mean, it's not new to you, but this was like right at kind of like the shutdown time.
Yeah. 2019, I had this kit made. John at Pearl is my A&R person, who's very, very supportive dude. I'm so grateful to have him. And he was like, well, let's do something special. And I said, look, dude, I want to go back to Silver Sparkle, right? Yeah. It's like the 8-year-old in me. Look at the shiny drums.
Yeah.
So we made this kit. It's 8, 10, 14, 16. I used to do a 16, 18, but the 18 was so hard to control on stage. And it's hard to control anywhere, I think. So I went back to 14, 16, and the 8 and 10s are pretty similar in size. Yeah. But it's fun to have a few more things to mix things up. Yeah. When you play the same song every day, or a million times or whatever, it's nice to be able to mix it up. So this has cast rims, and they'll do like these Music City Customs. They'll put any combination of wood. You can see these are different than these ones. They have different bearing edges.
Do you want to get into the nitty gritty
I
about
mean,
what it is?
About taking each piece.
Yeah,
so when they
let's
send me
talk
a
about
drum, I
each
take
layer.
every single piece apart and I grease it with my own certain little blend of
Cool.
Vaseline and 10W30
You
weight.
can hear it on the record, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming through, so the work is worth it. What is the kind of general construction, I guess, run around? Because people like to know the woods at least. If you
Yeah,
live in-
these are, if I remember correctly, these are birch and maple.
Okay.
So that inside layer is birch and then the rest of it is maple, if I remember correctly. And then these are mahogany.
Gotcha.
Both of them just solid.
Cool.
So yeah, and then of course this is actually a wrap, which is really nice too, because with Pearl, I can send my kits back to them and be like, hey man, I want to do something different. He said, well, just send me one of your kits back and I'll rewrap it.
That's awesome.
And then the snare drum, which is kind of special to me.
Dude, this thing.
Yeah, it's
just
kind of crazy,
Inline
right?
check. It's
Yeah.
the whole building was shaken with one hit of this thing.
Yeah, so this is, that be the camera there?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a reference snare drum, which is, it's 11 or 13 plies, I can't remember. And then I use this Black Max head on it, which is Kevlar mixed whatever. And I haven't had a ton of success recording with it, but live, man, it's like a bloody gunshot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it cuts through.
I mean, it literally, I'm not like being hyperbolic. It shook the whole room when you smacked that thing.
So it's fun to be able to have that sort of control. The other thing is, when I'm playing live, you get kind of more tired as the show goes, especially if the shows are 20 songs or whatever. And it's nice to have a little bit. It's almost a little bit of a cheat with this head, because you get a little bit more bounce that you would out of it after something that's spent 18 songs just get beating the hell out of it.
And I think a lot of people don't probably have experience maybe playing one of the Kevlar heads. How did you get to it, and what are the characteristics that you're liking in that head?
I mean, I got to it. This is the Remo Black Max head. I got to it because I was recording and I just went and I bought a bunch of different snare drum heads and started swapping them out, and to see what I liked on each drum. And I just kind of spent, I don't know, a couple hours just kind of mix and matching and stuff, and I ended up with this one, and I had it, and I didn't like it on anything when I was in the studio, but I had it and it was on a drum, and I put it on, and I think if I remember right, it was Chris Morrison, our front of house guy. I put it on, and he was like, man, that sounds crazy. And we just kind of tuned it up and started messing with it, and it just became a thing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty special. It's special to me.
Yeah. It sounds awesome. It's super unique, and
so you can steal it if you want.
It's cutting through this room, and this room, you need to be able to cut for sure.
Yeah. It's a big empty space.
It's a big empty space, and it will not be empty tonight when you're playing.
Yeah.
And it's full of bodies, and it's going to be super awesome.
Full of bodies. Yeah.
So on the bass drum, what do we got head-wise?
I'm using, this is just a Powerstroke P3 clear. Yeah. So with this, my kick drum sound is more these wooden mallets that I use. They kind of give you this just sort of, I don't know, it's a slap that I can get consistently. And I got stuck on them, and I think I got stuck on the weight.
Okay.
After I used them for a long time, I couldn't do anything else.
All right.
I probably can. You can learn anything.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of stuck on it, and I play these Pearl pedals, which I've been playing forever, and knock on wood that, nothing happens. But I always have a backup snare drum, a backup pedal, sometimes a backup hi-hat during the show, which is, it's good.
And what is your B snare? Are you doing the same thing, or you got something else going?
My B snare is a reference as well, but it's a 6, this is, what is this? This is an 8 lug. Okay. So the other one is a 6 lug. Where is it? It's around here somewhere.
Yeah, we'll find it.
I think it's a 6 lug, which I didn't know they made.
That seems like not enough lugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not enough. You're like,
well,
go
I played
10.
it the other day, and I broke like 4 sticks in the first couple songs. And I don't know if that had anything, it was just coincidence or whatever, but I went right through them. So, I don't know. I went back to this one. Went back to the 8 lug.
Yeah, all right. And on the toms, I see Emperor clears.
Yes. Yeah, and then the bottoms are ambassadors.
Clears. So pretty straightforward with that stuff.
Yeah, that's Eric, my drum tech, who's on and off with me. He actually put this selection together. I was playing pinstripes at the time because let's try this combination. So Eric Weiss did this, so yeah, Emperor clears on top and Ambassador clears on the bottom.
Classic pairing.
And it works with this drum kit.
Yeah.
Because out front, Steve, our front of house guy now, was like, oh, I like that better.
Yeah.
So fine, Steve.
So maybe you want a little bit more breadth than what the pinstripe was giving you.
Yeah. That's
cool.
right. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds great. They look great. And not to be outdone by this very impressive set of Zildjian cymbals.
Yeah.
Let's get into the brass, man. What do we got? We start
yeah.
way over there.
Oh,
You've got all kinds of fun
Chris
stuff.
is going to be angry.
Oh, no. Yeah, we shined them up real nice before.
So, yeah, I'm playing Zildjian A Customs. I like a bigger crash cymbal. Yeah, I just feel like it, for me, it kind of, and I ride a lot on my crash.
Yeah.
That's just a thing for me. And even my ride, I will crash on my ride too. So I think that's kind of a common thing now. But
yeah, I stole that from you early on.
This is A Custom FX in 18. I use that now a lot too because these effects cymbals, I wasn't really sure where they're going to fit. When I went to the Zildjian factory and I walked around and picked out some things like, this is cool, let's try this. I wasn't sure they were going to fit, but this thing fits between this and this.
Okay.
And this really, right? So it's not a ride, it's not a crash, it's not a hi-hat. So to be able to know that you can ride on something that's not one of those three things, you get a fourth thing, that was a huge thing because you can't ride on a China very well.
Well,
I mean, you can, and you can, right?
Yeah.
But you can't do it every song.
You can't every song.
It is a very specific sound.
It is.
So I got that and I ended up really kind of loving it. And I'll kind of randomly find something, a new piece, and I'll say, well, can we put a song around this? And this is what was the joke with the Cowbell a long time ago where Pete said to me, so we don't have any songs with Cowbell. So we wrote this song called Take Out the Gunman, and that we used the cowbell like a snare drum in that song in the verse.
Yeah.
And it was just a little bit different of a way, I'm sure someone's done it, but it's a little bit different of a way to use one, and it made the song sound, have that really great escalation from verse to chorus. So, but yeah, so Zildjian, most of this stuff is A Custom.
Yeah, what do we got over there? We've got some more effects, some
little effects here, and a ZXT on top of it, so that's it for the song, The Clincher. And I'll use it randomly in other things, but of course the obligatory is like Zilbell, right?
Yeah.
This thing, these are really that loud.
Yeah, they are.
They're that loud.
Yeah.
And every sound guy hates them.
They're the new China, right? Because we were talking, and here we go, right? Brought China's back. You're all welcome. Now it's Zilbell. And we were talking to Nick from Bad Omens about trying to bring back Zilbell.
Love it.
Yeah, and it's the new thing that sound guys hate to have to figure out how to get in the mix.
We actually are writing new music right now, and I have two of them. I have a smaller one than this, and I use them both in one of the songs and play the bells.
Yes.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I mean, what are drums if you can't have fun?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it seems like you're getting kind of inspired by the drum itself, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I have this, you were talking about even like trying to stay on board and playing some songs and like having different things to go to in the rack toms or even the floor tom sizes.
Yeah.
Having different cymbals to go to kind of keeps it switching up. So you're taking the parts from, the record and taking it to the room live. Are you finding yourself moving around the kit just to kind of keep it fresh night to night?
Absolutely true, yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, whatever it takes to inspire. If it's something as simple as a new cymbal, a new Zildjian cymbal for that matter, then it's great. It's worth the dough.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I know that you have a couple things we were talking about when we were setting up that just super fun. Talk to me about these, the sample guys over there.
I'm using these Pearl electronic Tru-Trac, basically triggers.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're on the concert tom kind of vibe.
So they just took a 10-inch tom, cut it in half, and then they mount these things inside of it.
It's very cool.
So you can do whatever you want to make it match the kit, which is really nice.
Yeah, super slick look.
Yeah, and then these are it's a snare drum sample from the original Wonder What's Next record for Comfortable Liar. Is that where we got that? We made that sample in the in the bathroom at the studio. Let's try the bathroom. It's amazing. It's got some great acoustics. And so, and then the other one is an 808 sample that this dude Ben Kaplan made for us for that album. So we used that same sample.
Nice. Super fun to have an 808 up here.
It's great. And then there's a reverse, the same sample as a reverse 808. And then on the SPD, over here is just some random parts for in between songs, like a little Rolling Thunder and things like that. And then there's some intros where they're like some screaming part or something like that at the very beginning of the song for Still Running. It's this like little poem thing that Pete screams into it, and we just trigger it, and then we know where to start. Just little things like that.
That's certainly something that's different from 20 years ago playing rock stuff. There wasn't all this like hybrid drum stuff. You weren't necessarily like running the show on a unit like that. So that's kind of something that's new and exciting. And also,
I mean, there's no show on it for sure. It's just they're 5-second pieces. But we do use a metronome during the show. So that's which is time code for the lighting. So we used to use an iPad to start that, and it's just a metronome. But it is something you have to stay on top of.
And you were talking about not staying on top of it, and a terrible thing that happened.
The other night we were in Houston, and it was a big show. We were closing. It was 11,000 people, and right before we played Mars Simula, the last song of that set, I went to press play, and the little off button is right underneath the play, and I switched it off. So I switched it off, and in my head I went, shit. And it was like I played everything I ever learned over in my head in 1 second. And then I said, all right, just press it. It'll turn on. Swipe it up. Oh, shit, there's a code. What's the code? And then I went to the default, which is 9s, and it came back up, and all was right with the world. That all happened in 5 seconds, but to me, it was a lifetime.
It was 11,000 seconds.
Exactly. I was like, hey, Pete, can you hold on? I'm going to reset, right? But it's good. It actually, I did it. It was fine. Now if I ever do it again, it'll be fine. Whatever. So you have click going through that. Is that going into your ears? And then obviously I'm sitting on top, spread eagle over top of the butt thumper. But this is the most interesting way I've seen a butt thumper used, because you're not sitting on it. We when I put it on, it was just too tall. I couldn't play, so we just strapped it to the rack. This is a blow-through aluminum riser. So we just strap it down real tight and turn it all the way up, and it's like a rock show.
The whole thing.
It's a rock show up here, man.
That's awesome.
And it works really well. We have another system that mounts, but we haven't been able to make it work with that amplifier. So I'll work on that and figure it out.
But for now, a bungee strap is the thing.
For now, a bungee strap is the thing, and it works. So it really does help too, because you don't know on a stage if a stage is built, or if it's a concrete stage, or whether it's a bass trap or whatever it is. You sometimes can't get a feeling for what's happening, right? So in your in-ears too, sometimes there's nothing. Right? It's just you and crickets,
right?
And when that happens, there's no feel for the show. It becomes a little bit of a struggle. So this absolutely helps.
And everybody that uses these absolutely loves them. They're a game changer. Super, super cool. And what a cool way to use it. Flip it upside down, send it straight to the floor.
It's great. And it works better because this thing's still sort of movable and all that stuff.
Very cool. And stick-wise, what do you got?
I'm using Vater 5Bs.
Cool.
Then got my little logo on it. Samuel has problems because, I do. Who doesn't? Lots of problems.
Those look great.
But so I've been with Vater for a long time. Chad's been really generous with our band, and all my people that I work with have been generous, and Zildjian and Perot and Vater, and all the companies that we work with, Shure and Mesa Boogie and Fender and Music Man, Ernie Ball, and I think those companies are all really supportive. They're happy when we call. They're happy with parts. You need parts, you need support, whatever it is. It's really, really good to have that relationship with people. And it makes a difference. This is my last thing. My little secret thing for drummers, to tell them this is a Blister Band-Aid from Band-Aid brand.
Well, right? Put it up to the camera and do that.
Which camera are we at?
Let's
this one there?
Okay. We'll look over there.
So it's like skin, right? Here. It's like...
Actually, I have a really gnarly blister.
There you go.
Right
See?
there.
Go ahead, use it. I put my fingerprints on it. Now it's going to...
Well, now we become
one.
All right, well.
It's saved me playing live.
That's awesome.
Because it's not slippery and it just stays on you the whole time.
All right.
My Blister Band-Aids.
Blister Band-Aids, and you keep these
I'm gonna
in
go
this.
for
We'll talk about it since
Yeah.
we got into this land. You have this cool little sidecar kind of hospitality area that I'm super into.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool little thing. Eric made it for me, and his buddy's making them. And dude, I wore off the name on the front, so I can't tell you what the name is. I feel kind of bad about it. But
What was the original thing? Like, what was it?
So it was literally for this. So my pack goes in there, my phone goes right over here. You can put a bottle of water there. I can put if I put my watch in there, if you're wearing like an Apple Watch or whatever, you don't want to play in it because you'll break it. It's got a little place for my jewelry.
It's great.
For my rings, got a little drum key holder.
I need one.
Seriously,
I need
it's
one
so
really bad.
convenient.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's probably the most like useful thing up on this whole riser is
and my tissue box.
and the tissue box.
Way more important than anything else. Because people forget too that when you're playing these shows, it's kind of like doing a workout at times. So you're just sweating and it's gross.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly comfortable up here. I'm precariously on these Apple boxes,
Yeah,
so thanks for making room for me today,
Happy to
and
have
thanks
you.
for making time for this cool show that we call the Drum Rundown. We've been here with Sam Loeffler of the band Chevelle. We will see you all on the next one.
Yeah.